Hey everyone, my name is Bridget. Welcome to my channel. For today's video, we are finally doing an All My Pets video. I have not done one of these videos in over 2 years, and that was actually my very first video on this channel. Since doing that video, I said to myself, I'm gonna do this video about every 6 months. That way everyone has an update on what animals I have. I surely did not do that, so I want to finally get back into it, make it up to you guys, and show you what animals I currently have. So we're gonna do things a little bit differently today than what people normally do. I'm gonna have my lovely husband assist me in this video in grabbing the animals for me and handing them to me. I'm pregnant, you know, it's a little difficult sometimes to get up and down and bend over and squat down and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna sit here and be lazy and have him bring me the animals. I'm also not going to talk about the animal while I'm holding them. I get a little carried away talking about them because I'm just obsessed with them. So I'm gonna keep it as short and simple and sweet as I can in the voiceover instead of sitting here and rambling on. What I'm also gonna do in this video is I'm gonna talk about their names. I give my animals middle names and it is very silly, I get it, but I can't help myself. I don't give middle names to like my invertebrates or anything, but most of them have a middle name. So I wanna tell you guys their first and middle name and explain what each of those names mean to me and how I decided on those names. We're gonna go ahead and get started. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into today's video.
Okay, first I want to talk about my cats because they are my pets too, but they don't belong in the reptile room, so I'm just going to show clips of them here. My first cat is Nugget. She is a Maine Coon mix that I rescued as a very tiny kitten in 2014. She was given to me after a pretty horrible event in which she had a broken leg and I saved her. I plan to do a story time on that, so let me know down below if that's something you're interested in hearing. She's now 6 years old and the love of our lives. Her full name is Nugget Irene. I named her Nugget because she was absolutely tiny and was just a little nugget. Joke's on me because she grew into this massive cat. And Irene is a family name that I used as a joke at first, but it's stuck, and that's our little Nugs. My second cat is Chester. He is our handsome barn cat. He is an orange tabby that we adopted/rescued after he showed up as a very malnourished kitten in 2016. He had no microchip or collar, so we kept him as our own. He is now 4 years old and better than ever. His full name is Chester Charles. We named him Chester because, to be honest, we wanted a sort of cheesy, cliche orange cat name, and it fit. Charles is another family name that we used as a joke because it's been a middle name in the family for several generations, and we just thought it'd be funny to tack it on again, and it stuck. So that's our little Chester man. Now I want to talk about all of my lizards and geckos. My first lizard is Phoebe. She is a hypocitrus tiger bearded dragon. She was our very first reptile. We found a breeder a couple of hours away and I got to pick her out of all of them. We got her in 2015 when she was just 3 months old, and she is now 5 years old. Her full name is Phoebe Cherie. I chose the name Phoebe because I wanted a name that was bright and sunny to complement her colors, and Phoebe stands for bright one or radiant shining one. Cherie just so happens to be my mom's name, and she used to jokingly complain that none of her kids named any of their kids after her. So I used her first name as Phoebe's middle name, and we still joke about it to this day. And that's my Phoebes. My second lizard is Cheeks. He is a yellow Saharan Eurymastix. We adopted/rescued him in 2018. The previous owner reached out to me to adopt him, but we didn't realize he would also turn into a rescue case. He suffers from MBD, which is metabolic bone disease, so he's definitely not my easiest pet, but he is definitely one of the most rewarding pets I own. I don't know the exact age of Cheeks, but my best guess is that he is around 6.5 years old. His full name is Cheeks Eugene. The previous owner named him Cheeks due to his adorable little cheeks, and I couldn't bear to change it. Is that not the most precious and fitting name ever? I chose Eugene because he reminds me of Eugene from The Walking Dead. He's very reserved and sort of matter of fact, which is a weird way to describe a reptile, but that's his personality. And that's my Cheeky. My first gecko is Twigs. He is a dark mac snow leopard gecko, and we purchased him in 2017 from a breeder as well. Unfortunately, he was ordered online and was shipped to me, but he was shipped right after Hurricane Harvey ended, so he got stuck in the mail for a couple of days due to the flooding. He is now 3 years old and such a sweet, shy guy. His full name is Twigs McGee. I chose the name Twigs because I wanted a name that was sort of related to the outdoors or the woods, and he also had his really scrawny legs, so I felt like it was a pretty cute name. My husband and I both kind of chose the middle name McGee because we both love the show NCIS, but it also just flowed. So it was kind of a joke, but I just couldn't let it go. And that's my Twiggy boy. My second gecko is Branch. He is a jungle emerine leopard gecko. We purchased him from a reptile expo in 2018. We actually chose him online from their website the day before the expo. Then we got there early and ran to their booth to pay for him before anyone else could. He is now 2.5 years old and the hungriest guy you'll ever meet. His derpy face at the front of his enclosure is the best part of every 5 minutes. I chose the name Branch to go along with the woodsy name theme. His middle name was kind of tricky for whatever reason, probably because I'm ridiculous. I couldn't bring myself to give him a middle name unless it also started with Mick, like Twigs' middle name McGee. So I scoured the internet for names that sounded right with Branch and finally landed on McHenry. Not super creative, but I don't care. And that's my Branch. My third gecko is Cork. She is a normal striped African fat-tailed gecko. She was purchased in late 2019 from our favorite gecko breeder, Huff's Herps. She is now about 9 months old and will be 1 year old in August. Her full name is Cork Peregrine. I chose the name Cork because I wanted to yet again continue the woodsy theme. However, I thought I'd give it a slight twist in the spelling because there's actually a little shop in New Orleans, Louisiana that I fell madly in love with last year, and they sell items made out of cork. I find it to be so unique, and I 100% stole it to name my gecko. I chose Peregrine for her middle name because I love Lord of the Rings, and one of the main characters is Pippin. However, Pippin's real name is Peregrine, so I used that instead because I thought it sounded better. To be honest, I may use the name Pippin in the future. And that's little Cork. My fourth gecko is Mary, which is short for Mariodoc. She is a whiteout Oreo African fat-tailed gecko. We adopted her earlier this year from that same gecko breeder, Huff's Herps. Seth reached out to me asking if I'd like to adopt her completely free of charge, just to ensure that she goes to a good home who could cater to her needs. Mary actually has a neurological condition. She does have a wobble, leans to the side often, and has a very hard time striking her food. She is now 2.5 years old and is the sweetest gecko I have ever known. Her full name is Mariodoc Cream. I chose the name Mariodoc because that is the name of Pippin's sidekick from Lord of the Rings. Her middle name Cream is actually what her name was originally, and I just wanted to keep it as part of her name. And that's my sweet Mary. My fifth gecko is Smeagol. He is a yellow patternless crested gecko. I adopted/rescued him in early 2019 from Emerald Scales, which is an online reptile and amphibian rescue. He's a special guy that came to that rescue with MBD and a very crooked spine. As soon as I saw him on the website, I knew in my heart that he was meant to be mine, and I was right. His age is not fully known, so I just made my best guess, and I'm saying that he is now around 4 years old. His full name is Smeagol Ent. I named him Smeagol because, once again, I love Lord of the Rings, and one of the most iconic characters is a creature named Gollum, which later became Smeagol. This guy is creepy looking and often hunches over, exposing his spine, so I felt it was the absolute perfect name for this gecko. His middle name Ent also comes from this franchise and is the name of the tree-like beings. Since he is an arboreal gecko that would live up in the trees, I wanted to incorporate a tree-like middle name, and I think I did a pretty good job. And that's my Smeagol. Next, I'm going to talk about my frog. I currently only have one, which is unacceptable. I need more. This is Putty. She is a chubby frog, also known as an Asian painted frog or a banded bullfrog. She was purchased in early 2019 from a reptile expo. She is now 1 year old and the most entertaining frog ever. There's never a dull moment with this little blob.
Ah!
You okay in there?
No!
What?
Putty just peed all over me. Like squirt peed.
Like what frogs do?
Yeah, but she's never done that before.
Her full name is Putty Chunk. I I chose the name Putty because my husband and I went to the Texas Reptile Zoo and one of their alligators is named Putty for whatever reason, and I always thought it was so cute, so I stole it. It just fits, you know? Her middle name Chunk is from none other than the Goonies. I love that movie so much, and Chunk is my favorite character. And since Putty is a chubby frog, I wanted to add on a name that related to being chubby or chunky, and there you go. That's my Putty. Next, I'm going to talk about all of my snakes. We have several, so this is going to take a hot minute. If snakes are an animal that you do not enjoy seeing, feel free to skip ahead to the time stamped on the screen. There are other pets to share after these guys, so definitely stick around. My first snake is Ollie, short for Ollivander. She is a normal reduced pattern ball python. She was adopted from a local reptile rescue in 2018. Her age is not fully known, but we've guessed that she is around 4.5 years old. She is a big old girl with the sweetest disposition. Handling her is always so calming for me. Her full name is Ollivander Love. I chose the name Ollivander after Ollivander's wand shop in Harry Potter, which is another common theme to my pet names. I couldn't refuse this beauty, and she kept reaching her neck out to me, so I knew it was meant to be. Her middle name Love is short for Lovegood, which is the last name of Luna Lovegood, also from Harry Potter, whom I just adore so much. And that's my Ollie girl. My second snake is Indy, short for Indiana. He is a Mojave ball python. He was also adopted from the same rescue that Ollie was adopted from, and at the same time. His age is also unknown, but we guess that he is around 2.5 years old. His full name is Indiana Heath. Since Ollie was originally meant to be more my snake, we decided to let Indy be more my husband's snake, and he got to choose the name. Since Indy is a Mojave morph, which is sort of related to the desert, he chose a desert-related name. And since he loves Indiana Jones, that was a no-brainer. I chose Heath because, fun fact, a heath is known as a shrubland habitat, which also fits the desert theme. And that's our Indy boy. My third snake is Bruce. He is a Bolivian short-tailed boa constrictor, which is known as a boa constrictor amarali or a BCA, and they're most known for their super short tails. We purchased him from a breeder in Central Texas in 2019. He is 1.5 years old. My husband actually discovered him, and we both pretty much freaked out and had to have him. These boas are extremely rare because they are no longer allowed to be imported from other countries, so Bruce is a very special guy to us. His full name is Bruce Gribble. We both really loved the name Bruce, but we each have a different take on it. My husband chose Bruce after Bruce Banner, better known as the Hulk, and I chose Bruce after the shark on Finding Nemo. Either way, the boy got a very beefy name. He chose Gribble as Bruce's middle name because he enjoys the show King of the Hill, and Dale Gribble is his favorite character. I don't love the name, but it is what it is, and that's Bruce. My fourth snake is Thestral. She is a Dumerils boa. I adopted her from a Facebook post in 2019. She is currently 11 months old and will be 1 year old in June. She was a dream snake of mine, so I jumped on the opportunity to get her, and I couldn't be happier that I did so. Her full name is Thestral Arwen. I chose the name Thestral because that is the name of these skeletal flying horse creatures from Harry Potter. Dumerils boas have little faces along their sides, and every time I've ever seen one of these faces, for some reason I always see a Thestral. I chose Arwen as her middle name because I adore the character Arwen from the Lord of the Rings, and each time I see the flower shapes on the top of a Dumeril's back, I am reminded of the necklace that she gave to Aragorn. They are not that visually similar, but it's the first thing that comes to my mind when I see these flower shapes. And that is my gorgeous Thestral. My fifth snake is Grendel. He is an Axanthic Western Hognose. We purchased him from a reptile expo in 2018. He's a little guy, but he is basically full grown and will be 2 years old in June. His full name is Grendel Rupert. I chose the name Grendel after the monster from the epic poem Beowulf. This is one of my all-time favorite Old English poems, and when thinking of names for a monstrous snake with keeled shield-like scales, I felt that Grendel was a perfect fit. I chose Rupert solely due to Rupert Grint, who plays Ronald Weasley in Harry Potter, whom I just adore so much. That's really it. That's the name, and that's my Grendel monster. My sixth snake is Janice. She is a normal Western hognose. I adopted/rescued her from a supporter of mine who reached out to me for help. After first trying the advice that I had given her, the previous owner decided to give Janice to me as a final attempt to save her life. This was in early 2019. She is pretty small for her age and could end up a bit stunted as she continues to grow because she will be 2 years old in June. And for a female hognose, that should mean she'd be about double the size she is now. But that's okay, we still adore her and she's doing very well and eating regularly. Her full name is Janice Skeeter. The previous owner named her Janice after Janice from the TV show Friends, and I couldn't change it. I chose Skeeter as her middle name because she has a perfect line between her eyes, which reminds me of glasses. So I chose to name her after Rita Skeeter, the reporter from Harry Potter who wears really bold glasses. And that's my little Janice. My seventh snake is Jack. He is a gray-banded king snake. We purchased him from a reptile expo in 2018, and it was another situation where we jumped on the opportunity because he was another dream species for both my husband and me. He is now 1.5 years old, and he is an excellent snake to keep. His full name is Jack Lakota. We chose the name Jack after Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas because his colors are very Halloween-esque, and we felt it was the perfect fit for him. His middle name, Lakota, is actually a type of pumpkin, and since Jack Skellington is the Pumpkin King, I gave Jack a pumpkin-related middle name. If you've never seen a Lakota pumpkin, they are orange with very dark greenish-gray stripes. So even though he has no green in him, I still felt like it was a good match just based on appearance. And that's our Pumpkin King Jack. My eighth snake is Sally. If you've been around for a while, you know that I do not handle her. She mistakes me for food every time I handle her, so my husband is doing the honors here. She is a mosaic California king snake. She's very similar to the standard California king snake, but she has a broken mosaic pattern, which makes her super unique. My husband actually chose her from an online breeder in 2019. He fell in love with her, and she was sort of his birthday gift to himself. She is now 1.5 years old. Her full name is Sally Ellipsis. My husband decided since we had our Jack, we needed our Sally, also from The Nightmare Before Christmas. I gave her Ellipsis as her middle name because she has a perfect row of 3 dots on her neck that remind me of an ellipsis, which is the term used for a ... pause. And that's our feisty Mustang Sally. My ninth snake is Cornelius. He is a tessera corn snake. He was actually my very first snake and the one who started our snake obsession. He was purchased from a reptile expo in 2018. We walked around the entire place looking for the perfect corn snake, and he won my heart immediately. He is going to be 2 years old in July, which blows my mind. His full name is Cornelius Snape. I chose the name Cornelius as a joke because it seemed so silly to have a corn snake named Cornelius, but it stuck so quickly and I couldn't give it up. I chose Snape as his middle name because of Severus Snape from Harry Potter, whom I love so much, and that's my Cornelius. My 10th snake is Wanda. She is an extreme OKT corn snake. She was purchased from an online breeder that I adore in 2019, Crystal Colubrids. I fell in love with her through an Instagram post and claimed her as mine immediately. She is about 9 months old and will be 1 year old in August. Her full name is Wanda Stone. I chose the name Wanda after Wanda Maximoff, also known as the Scarlet Witch from the Marvel Comics. Her deep red coloration was the perfect connection. Her middle name, Stone, was inspired by the Infinity Stones, also from the Marvel Comics. She has 6 little circles along her neck, and that reminded me of the 6 Infinity Stones, so I thought it would be cute to make Stone her middle name. And there's our cute little Wanda. My 11th snake is Ben, short for Benjamin. He is a granite corn snake. He was purchased from an online breeder in 2019. We plan to become corn snake breeders in the future, so we wanted to add a couple of additional genetics to our projects, which includes Ben, as well as our other 3 corn snakes. He is going to be 3 years old in August. My husband chose the name Ben because we wanted to play off of his granite morph type and choose a rock-related name. So my husband thought of the Fantastic Four character, The Thing, whose real name is Ben Grimm. Turning his name to Benjamin was my choice because I just thought it was a bit cuter. His middle name, Bo, was sort of both of our choice, and it was just something that popped up randomly. We felt it flowed nicely together, and it stuck. And that's our beautiful Benny. My 12th and final snake is Susie. She is an anerythristic corn snake. She was purchased from the same breeder that Ben was purchased from and at the same time in 2019. She will hopefully be paired with Ben when she is old enough to breed. She needs to do a whole lot of growing though because she is only about 9 months old and will be 1 year old in August. Her full name is Susie Shale. Once again, my husband named this gal, and since we had Ben from Fantastic Four, he decided to name her after the character The Invisible Woman, whose real name is Susan Storm. I chose to make her name Susie instead because, again, I just thought it was a bit cuter. Her middle name Shale came from the sedimentary rock, which goes along with the rock-related theme we chose for Ben. Can you tell we like themes around here? And that's our Susie Q. Now I'm going to talk about my aquarium. So currently I have 1 betta fish, a whole bunch of snails, and some cherry shrimp. My betta fish is named Jane. I purchased her just about a month ago from my good friend Anna Louise, who is a betta breeder here on YouTube. Jane is nearly 7 months old and is a rose gold Dumbo placotte betta fish. I named her Jane because she was labeled as Anna's 11th baby, and I have a massive love for the Netflix show Stranger Things, so I knew her name had to be related to 11, the main character of the show, so I chose to name her Jane, which is 11's real name. I love this darn fish so much. Here are all of my current mystery snails. I have a blue one named Scribble, an ivory one named Lennon, a gold one named Lyric, a black one named Spell, a darker albino one named Pen, and a lighter albino one named Poet. When naming my mystery snails, I have a theme that you might have picked up on. I choose to name them words related to writing, literature, stationery, music, and other performing arts. Here are all of my nerite snails. I have 2 sunthorn nerite snails named Thorn and Thumbtack. Since they are spiky, I wanted to give them spike-themed names. Then I have 3 orange racer nerite snails named Zoom, Vroom, and Toot. Zoom has red stripes, Vroom has orange stripes, and Toot has black skid mark looking stripes. I wanted to give them racing themed names. Then here are all of my pink ram's horn snails. I have 4 of them named Prosecco, Punch, Rosé, and Sangria. I have no idea which ones are which, so your guess is as good as mine, but I still wanted them to have cute names. And those names all have to do with a fruity, pinky, reddish, mostly alcoholic beverage. And then here are some shots of my red cherry shrimp. None of them have names, and I have no idea exactly how many are in here, but I've had these guys since about October, and I have become obsessed. They are so entertaining to watch. Finally, I want to talk about my invertebrates. First up are my millipedes. I have 3 North American millipedes named Pete, Millie, and Francis. I adopted them from a friend's daughter who couldn't care for them anymore. She named Pete and Millie, and I chose Francis based on a Twitter suggestion. Then I have a gold Sonoran desert millipede named Newbie. I did have a second named Hopper, but she escaped somehow and I never saw her again. They were both named after Jim Hopper and Bob Newby, some beloved characters from Stranger Things that I love so much. And finally, this is my praying mantis Bowie, short for bowtruckle. Bowie is a ghost mantis and is very green in color due to the slightly higher humidity level that I provide for her. I named her Bowie or bowtruckle after the little sprout-looking creature from the Harry Potter franchise, specifically part of the Fantastic Beasts prequel. Mantids are some of my favorite little creatures on Earth, so it is a dream to finally own one, and Bowie has been absolutely wonderful.
Alright everyone, that wraps up today's video, just introducing you to all of my pets and explaining their names and what their names mean. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and seeing all of my lovely little babies. If you did enjoy this video, please give us a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button on your way out. I really appreciate it. Also hit the notification bell so you can know when I upload next, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!